And like, have you seen a slowdown or a change now that we're sitting here? It's April of 2023.
The number one thing I see is a real hesitance to sell your house. And it's because two things. I meet a lot of people that are like, well, if I sell this home today, I've got a 1.9 or 2.9% interest rate on it. And I know I'll get good money for it, but then I got to go buy another house. And what's that interest rate going to be? Or is it that house is going to be expensive too? So it's not like I'm going to go sell this one for X amount and the next one's going to be Y amount and be super cheap, unless you have to move or have a big change like that. So that's what's making folks nervous.
And is that affecting? Does it help or does it hurt a guy like you that does?
I need turnover. Just like you need turnover. Everybody that does what I do, because you can live in your house for a while, and that was before COVID. Everybody would live in their house for a while and you didn't notice a lot of things. You didn't notice your sidewalk was cracked. You didn't notice you had that dead tree out back. You're busy, man. You're going to work. Your wife's going to work. You got to get the kids to and from sports or this or that or whatever. A lot of stuff you can let slide. But when they got locked in their house, then all of a sudden that dead tree drove them crazy. Mm-hmm. That crack in the sidewalk drove them crazy.
Right.
And then guys like me, all of a sudden our phones blew up. And don't get me started on the pool business. The pool business during the pandemic, unbelievable. Shooting fish in a barrel. Every human stuck at home with their 3 kids, driving them crazy.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, we got to get these kids outside. We got to get them outside now. Build me a freaking pool for the love of God.
So at the worst of it, so your company, you have another company called Rhine Pools. So at the worst of the pandemic, what was the backlog of like
a little over 2 years?
So would anyone cut you a check and say, here's my deposit, I'll see you in 2 years?
We had people that I would have initial meetings at their home with them, explain the process, and they would show up the next day with a deposit check. And I hadn't even written a contract yet. I had that happen 3 times. And I'm like,
yeah,
I didn't know what to do. And they were just like, we want to get on the list. You know, they weren't bringing me over tens of millions of dollars, nothing crazy, bringing me a little bit of money, but they're like, please take this as me being serious. I trust you, Jay Ryan. Get me on that list. It was a wild feeling.
Now, if I wanted a pool, because I have clients even today that are asking about pools. So this is very interesting. They still believe it's a 2-year waiting.
No.
What's it
2
now?
years is gone. I'm one of the exceptions, probably. I'm currently selling for next year. This year for me is booked. But I think a lot of the pool only companies, 3, 4, maybe 6 months out, they're catching up on their backlog quickly.
And what does a pool cost these days?
Oh my. They're pretty much starting around the 90 to 100 plus. And just for the pool.
That's just a concrete basic, no hardscape, not fancy hardscaping.
Listen, that's not counting. Matt, you got to count a fence. You got to count having pavers or concrete or stone of some kind around that pool. Drainage system. Everyone wants lights. Everyone wants plants.
What about the magazines that say I can get a pool installed for $45,000? You see these ads.
Oh yeah, that company went out of business last year. Well, it's true. It's literally true. I'm not going to name their name, but there was a company, good sized company, been in business a long time.
Yeah.
They were the one that always had the front page ad, 39,000, 29,000, right. Get you a pool. Oh man.
Yeah.
Life bit them in the butt hard because I think they were doing a wonderful job selling as well. What hurt a lot of guys, I bought 2 trucks off of a guy last year. True story. He had been in business, I believe about 40 years. Very good company. Did exactly what I did and been doing it longer than me, building complete backyards. He's a designer and a good one, a very good one. And he was selling very far into the future and he was locking in his price. You want a beautiful backyard? Okay, it's $200,000. Sign the contract, give me the deposit. You're locked in. We're going to be here 18 months from now. We're going to build you this amazing backyard. You know what the cost is. We're going to do it. Sounds good, right?
Sure.
Well, what happens during that 18 months if every single bit of supplies that he purchases to build your backyard goes up by 40%, 60%?
That's crazy.
He's still showing up. He's still trying. He's still working. He literally worked until the last check bounced.
Good God.
That's scary. And I think it happened to more guys than you realize.
So your contracts would stipulate that it could adjust based on market conditions?
I had to put that in there.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, we had put it in before the pandemic hit because I was starting to get a little further out and a little further out. And then when the pandemic hit and all that uncertainty, I'm an idiot. I was convinced everything was going to get cheaper. So I thought to myself, these people are going to be really upset with me when I show up in a year.
Right. They're going to
And
shop you and realize
they
they
can shop
overpaid.
me and
Yeah.
realize, hey, I know the pool was 100,000 that Mr. Ryan sold me, but X, Y, and Z company can do it for 78. Jay, you're raking me over the coals. So honestly, I put it in there thinking, well, it'll go both ways. And
Mhm.
if we have, I do a nice thing with a spreadsheet showing what the prices are. If I have to back some of this down, I will. I don't want to lose your job.
Right.
But little did I know, everything just went
Protected you. Good God. Well, I like it. You say, I'm not going to be replaced anytime soon by AI or one of these robots.
pretty hard
Because
to
you're like-
replace physical labor.
You're like, I got to dig a ditch.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it's tough to think that there's going to be a machine that shows up and just does it all. I mean, maybe. I mean, they've figured out how to put these what are they, lawn mowers that'll run 24/7 out there cutting grass, and they plug into a little thing and they put a little invisible line, they cut grass. That's
eventually
something.
we'll all be replaced, I suspect, but you have a little bit longer than someone like myself in real estate. I probably have a much shorter time frame to have a career.
Well,
realistic.
listen, somebody's going to still have to do work. That's all there is to it. At the end of the day,
Yeah, I suppose so. Let's hope so.